Have Thomas here. We're going to run through some of the resources he's just published. So, Thomas, please help us understand what you've published.
Absolutely. And thanks for having me again. And thank you to everybody who's participating in this year's vCon Hackathon. This has been a source of delight for us for years. And now that vCons are really hitting their stride and really, making it out into the world, we're really happy that, you're here at this moment. So, okay, so I put the resources and the links to them down here in conserver.io. It's our open source site. This hackathon is being sponsored by my employer, my company, my peeps, Strawlid, and this is our open source contribution. We believe in open source and we believe in open networks, and we believe in hackathons. So over here on the left-hand side, there's a vCon apps and stores, and that is the section of the vCons that we're working on this time. And at the very top here, there's an essay that I've written down around exactly what we're talking about in apps and stores, and trying just to put that into context for
Yep.
you. And maybe you might find where you are in the store architecture. In fact, there is basically three kinds of people in the App Store world. There are people who make the vCons. There are the people who keep the vCons, safe. The data subjects interact with those vCon hosters to express their digital rights. And the net result of all that work is a projection of vCons into a database or a data store. And what we're looking for you to do is write these vCon-enabled apps that run on top of the data store. So you don't have to set up a conserver, you don't have to make a vCon. We have given you some you could use, and so we're looking for people to work on the data store side. And there's two different ways of doing it, but we're going to get to that in a second. So the first thing we have here is just a basic idea of why are we doing it and what the points is, and that might get you there. Then we have uh, a set of conversations that you can use
Yep.
for your own hack. So we have a native here. We have an S3 bucket, which doesn't seem like a good URL. We'll also put up a Mongo and a Postgres link as well. If you want to write natively, feel free to import them into your own database. It's not really the point. And so inside these conversations are about 42, and they're around a yacht broker on Aquidneck Yacht Brokers. It's the island I grew up on in Narragansett Bay in Rhode Island. And you see there's a lot of different conversation types, and so these are the raw materials that we want you to work with, and there's lots of different calls here and lots of different issues that people talk about. And all the data is actually in these vCons. So there's audio recording, full transcripts, and the like. So this is what I like you to use for the data itself. And then finally, on the information side, there is a video if you're more of a visual learner, right? That's a place where you can get more information around beacons and stores and the like.
Yeah.
And that on the information side. Okay, now there's two other things I'm gonna talk to you about. So I think there's actually two different kinds of winners that we're looking for this time. And so we're talking about the apps and stores. And so on the apps side, we have a vCon app template that we wrote using Python and Streamlit to show basically, and this is a link to the vCon diary. And what it does is it goes through and it looks at a vCon database and then gives you a diary of what it's seeing per day. So it's a very simple place to start. You can fork this. You can, add your own stuff. You can make your own. Doesn't you have to use Streamlit if you're not a Python person? You can use any other framework you want, or that's great. And we'd love you to do that. So here's a template for you to do that with. But also, we also like to talk about actually the vCon in another sense, which is the vCon as a file.
Yeah.
And one of the really neat things about vCons is you don't have to write an API to use them. If you're not a programmer, if you're a low code, no code guy, if you're more business oriented or security oriented, there's another option for you to do, and we're looking for winners here too, and that is taking the file of a vCon, those vCons I've given you, and for you to give them to an existing tool. It could be an LLM, it could be any sort of new framework. It could be anything. You could add it to any low code, no code tool you might want. So, for instance, you take the vCons, you put them in a database, and you give that to the low code tool, and now the low code tool is showing you how to use vCons. Or you can import
Fantastic.
it into an Airtable, or you can bring it into a ChatGPT, anything you really want to do and have fun with that. The vCon is just a file. You can open it up and look at it and use it. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So if you are I'm on the less programming side, but on the vCon enthusiast side, here is another opportunity for you. And so let me just stop sharing for a second. We have a Slack channel that we have set up into our team that we have available to you. You can use that. You can also email me and Alan, and I'll put my email address right there.
Okay.
Happy to do that. Love your questions. I think your questions are just as important as your hacks because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make vCons a thing. We're trying to support the community, and that means we're trying to support you. So anything that you need from us, let us know. So that's
Excellent.
it.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Thomas. Because today I've been talking to quite a few pre-graduates. So, and they were saying, Alan, they were asking me all these questions around coding, and it was so beautiful. Say, look, it's a file type. All you need to do is pump it into like a chat GPT or something and let it do the hard work for you. It's all about showing you understand and doing something smart.
Yeah, in fact, uh, for those people, if you were to take those 10 conversations and put them in the chat GPT and say, you know, give me a plan to fix the problems my customers are talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the sort of operational insight you can get from the data inside of a vCon,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other level of value creation and
Yes.
hacking.
Yep.
So
So that's powerful. I'm really looking forward to it. It's give the tools as easy or complex as possible to let people just unleash their creativity in ways that we have no clue. We're all men. We have no clue. They'll do it in ways that will just astound us like every year.
yeah, absolutely. You got the crayons, draw us a picture.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Thomas.
My pleasure. Take care.